Welcome back to freetradingsystems.org, and we're up to chapter 9, and in this topic we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that's the secret art of backtesting. You see, the reason I think it's so close to me is because having worked with so many different clients, I constantly see very similar issues coming up with why traders aren't successful in the market. And at the core of it, I find when I dig a little bit deeper, what I find is most traders, when they're not successful in the market, it's because they're not following their trading system. And then again, to dig a little bit deeper beyond that, why is it that most traders can't follow their trading system? And you'll find it's because they don't have confidence in their system. And that's ultimately what backtesting can give you. It can give you that confidence that you need to systematically and religiously follow your trading system, which is extremely important. I've had many clients when they come to me who, have been very unsuccessful historically, and then after going through the process of backtesting their system and learning the metrics that are really driving their trading system, they've gone on to be very successful traders because now they know at the core what's driving their system, and they have that confidence continue to trade on. Now, just because you backtest a system, it's really important to note that once you've backtested a system, how the system has performed historically doesn't necessarily tell you how the system is going to trade in the future. There's no way to predict the future, and your system may perform better or it may perform worse than it has historically. That said, that's not the benefit or the main reason that we're backtesting a system. The main reason is we're doing it to get some basic metrics about the system. We need to know just what it is, that how many losses you've had in a row, how many wins you've had in a row, what's the maximum drawdown. All these things you need to know, and then you need to go, okay, well, does that match my profile when it comes to my risk tolerance and things like that? So you're basically looking for a system that matches you, because you might think, well, I can't trade a system that has a drawdown of 50%. And you're not going to find out that until you've got two options. One, you're going to backtest your system and you're going to find out beforehand. Or the second is you don't backtest your system, and then you get to a point where you're trading and you go, oh, I'm at 50% drawdown, and you're pulling your hair out because that doesn't match who you are. So let me give you an example of really why backtesting is so important. Let's say that you're trading a trading system that is extremely profitable, and you're sitting on a string of 5 and 10 losses. Let's say 5 or up to even 10 losses in a row. Now, at this point, if you haven't backtested your system, you might start to get stressed and worried because you're sitting there going, oh, I've had 5 and 10 losses in a row, this is the worst trading system ever, I'm not going to continue to trade this trading system because, I've had so many losses in a row, it must be broken, it's not working. But if you had backtested your system, you might know that historically this same trading system has had up to 12 or 13 losses in a row, and it's still been hugely profitable. And you wouldn't know that unless you've backtested the system. So what it allows you to do is it gives you that confidence when you get to that point where you've got 5 or 10, however many losses in a row, and then you'll be able to continue to trade through those rough patches because at least, well, historically it's still had this string of losses and it's still been profitable. So with that in the back of your mind, okay, well, I'm going to stick with it. And it's only at a point where you start to trade outside of those basic metrics that you get from backtesting. So let's say that historically your system has had 13 losses in a row and it's still been a fantastically profitable system. It's only when you trade outside of that 13 that you need to look at your system. Well, let's say you're up to 20 losses. Then you'll go, well, historically it's never had that amount of losses before. Something may have gone awry. Maybe I'm not following my system exactly. And it really gives you something to look against. I suppose really to improve anything. Now this is, again, to draw back to the analogy of running you're trading like a business, just like a business keeps valuable statistics. Any successful business, they count things like well, how many people come through the door, how many people do they sell that come through the door, and all those sort of vital metrics they keep. And you need to do that similarly in your trading, and Backtest will be able to do it. And once you're able to measure it, that enables you to improve upon it. Until you measure something, you're never ever going to be able to improve on it. So it's absolutely key and vital. As long as I can stress upon you the importance of backtesting, then I've done my job in this chapter. Now, there are a few ways that you can backtest. You can do it basically in real time through paper trading, where let's say you trade as though you were trading live, but you wouldn't put any money in it. Basically, it's paper trading, and that's a form of backtesting. That said, though, I think that is very time consuming, and time being the most valuable asset that we have, I like to look for things that are the most effective use of my time. So there are different computer software out there that allows you to backtest their system. There are a few different options. Some, like I have seen quite a few, as you can imagine. Some are very complex, some are extremely basic. For me, I've found probably the package that does what I need it to do is a package that is called TradeSim, and that plugs into my version of Metastock, which I talked about in the previous chapter, and that's why I trade that. It just bolts onto the side and gives you some absolutely fantastic backtesting capabilities, and really it enables you to be able to fully test a system and then come to clear conclusions as to whether or not this is a trading system that you should necessarily be trading. So please have a look at the chapter down below, make sure that you read through it, come to the conclusion that you do need to backtest your system, and then try and find a backtesting software that plugs into your charting package and enables you to test these systems. Just take the rules that we've outlined in the previous chapters, drop it into your backtesting software, do a little bit of testing and tweak it a little bit, but again, I come back to the idea of looking for the Holy Grail. Just remember, there's no perfect system, so I have seen many traders, once they start backtesting, they're continually tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. Just find something that puts the odds in your favour, and trade that, and then see how you go. Once you do that, then you can look at improving, but the real key is to do some form of backtesting and then get in the game. So that's it for this chapter. Make sure that you do the action steps before moving on to the next chapter, and I'll see you in chapter number 10.